Hi, I'm Arthur Bowman, and after practicing law in the city of Detroit for the past 28 years, I'm finally ready to make my first run for public office. I'm currently campaigning for one of the 2 judicial vacancies in Detroit's 36th District Court. But before any voter were to make that decision as to who to vote for judge, the voter would be well advised to ask the candidate, what kind of judge are you going to be? My answer to that very reasonable inquiry is, I'm going to be a common sense type judge. My dad, who was a very wise man, introduced me to Mr. Common Sense early in life and told me to call on him in making important decisions. Dad also insisted that I go to church and to trust in God. Therefore, I will be a judge piloted by God and the memory of Mr. Common Sense. I will call on them both in distinguishing between those persons in need of compassion and those in need of punishment. It seems Mr. Common Sense was always around when I was a young person, but less and less as time went by, until recently I read his obituary. Please join me in a moment of silence for our beloved old friend, Mr. Common Sense. One who served us so well and for so many generations. He and God will be my guide if the people of this great city elect me to be a judge of the 36th District Court. I speak in remembrance of a beloved old friend, Mr. Common Sense. No one knows for sure how old he was when he passed away, since his birth records were lost in bureaucratic red tape so many decades ago. He will be remembered for cultivating such important lessons as when to come in from the rain, why the early bird catches the worm, that life isn't always fair, and maybe it was my fault. Mr. Common Sense lived by simple but fundamental financial policies, such as don't spend more than you earn, and reliable parenting strategies such as adults, not children, are in charge. Mr. Common Sense health began to deteriorate when well-intentioned but overbearing regulations were set into place. Reports of a 6-year-old boy being criminally charged with sexual harassment for kissing a classmate, and a teacher being fired for reprimanding an unruly student only worsened his condition. Mr. Common Sense lost ground precipitously when parents attacked teachers for doing the job they themselves failed to do in disciplining their unruly children. His health deteriorated even further when schools had to gain parental consent to administer sunscreen lotion, Band-Aids, and aspirin, but those very same schools were prohibited from notifying the parents when a child became pregnant and wanted an abortion. Mr. Common Sense lost the will to live when the 10 Commandments became contraband, churches became businesses, and criminals received better treatment than their victims. Mr. Common Sense was preceded in death by his parents, truth and trust, his wife, discipline, his son, reason, and his daughter, responsibility. However, he was survived by 3 stepbrothers, all of whom are very well known. The eldest, I know my rights. The middle boy, I am the victim. And the baby boy, someone else is to blame. It is reported that very few people attended Mr. Common Sense's funeral because so few knew he was gone. However, if the people of this great city elect Art Bowman for 36th District Court Judge, Mr. Common Sense will be alive in memoriam in at least that one courtroom. I'm Arthur Bowman, a candidate for judge of the 36th District Court. Please remember me at the August 7, 2012 primary. The author of the folklore underlying this statement is unknown. Thank you.